Howdy, it's Jim Arado, and we are driving around western Kentucky. We're actually driving in Hardinsburg, Kentucky. This is early January 2021. This is just a neat little town in Breckinridge County that I've passed through actually a few times here lately. I got a few things going on that I like. And some of the times when I'm kind of just fishing around and trying to find a different route to take, I've found myself here. And it's a neat town. It's not that far from Owensboro. It's far enough away, though, that I never went there while I lived in Owensboro. But when I'm in Hardinsburg, I hear a lot of people talking about going to Owensboro for stuff, which is kind of weird to me. Growing up in Owensboro, we would talk about going to, mostly Evansville, which was a bigger city, for something fun to do. And I guess people in Hardinsburg, some of them talk about going to Owensboro for something fun to do, but they've also got access. They're not that far from Lexington or Louisville either, so they've got some other towns they can hit if they want to. And let me just go ahead and look over the Wikipedia page here real quick while I'm just kind of driving around. But Wikipedia says Hardinsburg is a home rule class city in Breckinridge County, and it's the seat of the county. The population was 2,343 as of the 2010 census, and it was named after Captain William Hardin. And just kind of skimming over the history, it mentions that in August 1779, Sinclair Hardin, William's cousin, was the first man killed by the Shawnee west of the Allegheny Mountains at Big Springs during an early excursion into the Kentucky wilderness. Captain William Hardin, brother of Colonel John Hardin, for whom Hardin County was named, established the frontier fort at the site 1780. The settlement was known variously as Hardin's Fort and Hardin's Station in the 18th century, and William Hardin received 400 acres from Benjamin Hardin in 1780, and it kind of goes into that. Gives a little more information, names, X amount of, you get it, X amount of space, 400 acres. And it says William Hardin received grants from the state of Virginia 1785 for 3,800 acres of land, all near the present site of Hardinsburg, Kentucky. The murder and scalping of young James Jolly was the second colonizer to be murdered by native Kentuckians at Hardin's Fort. James was the son of Nelson Jolly Jr. And it tells how at 17 years of age, newly arrived at the fort, James went alone to bring in the horses, which were grazing along Clover Creek a few hundred yards from the palisaded walls. When he did not return, a scouting party eventually found his mutilated body. James Jolly was the first person to die at Hardin's Station, and the first to be buried under a hickory tree near the banks of Clover Creek, where both his father and William Hardin were buried when they died. So that's okay. That's some interesting stuff. A little bit of a dark history there, but fascinating too. I might have to look up the sources on that just to see if there's some more reading to do on that. If you know more about that, let me know. I'm kind of curious. Notable people. It looks like there's a family, the Beard family. Got a few athletes in that family: Butch, Percy, and Ralph. And Jinx Tex Carmen, guitarist. Bobby Jordan, actress, raised in Hardinsburg. Lisa Thornhill, actress born and raised in Hardinsburg. And I pulled her up because she's a modern actress, and I am sure I've seen some of her work. It mentions she was in Veronica Mars, A Life or something like it, 18 Wheels of Justice, but then under her television credits, Wings. She was in Wings. I love Wings. She was in the Drew Carey Show. Looks like just not a cast member or anything, but she was just in an episode. Ally McBeal, Beverly Hills 90210. There were Star Trek Enterprise. I loved that show. She played a female alien. She was in Friends. Monk, Frasier, Veronica Mars, CSI, a couple of the CSIs. Yeah, Bones. Okay, so that's interesting. I'll have to look up more about her. We were really big into Star Trek Enterprise when that was out. I don't know if you're a Star Trek fan. It's kind of the stepchild of the series, or of all the series. But yeah, we really loved Enterprise. Scott Bakula. Yeah. So anyway, we're just driving around Hardinsburg. Obviously, just an attractive little town. They've got a little Main Street area we like to turn off of. And there's a little coffee shop in town. Actually, I'm always Googling looking for interesting independent coffee shops. You know I'm fascinated with that sort of thing. Oh, they got an IGA also. I'm fascinated with IGAs. But yeah, they actually, I'll go ahead and tell you just a little bit about their coffee shop in town that I like. They have a little coffee shop called Wired Rooster Coffee. Man, that's a whole lot harder to say than I thought it would be. Yeah, but it's a Wired Rooster Coffee. And they have a pretty cool, kind of colorful rooster logo that they have on, that they use. They need to put that on a shirt or something. They need to sell that, their logo a little more. I'm big on merching out a cool logo. And I wish they would do a little more with it. But yeah, it's just a nice little cozy coffee shop, in a little town that, yeah, I mean, it's almost, it's got a lot of character. It's very cozy. It's a cool little hangout. I've stopped by there. Actually, pre-COVID, I stopped by there a couple times as I was driving to Owensboro, had a cup of coffee and just read, for half an hour to break things up. Yeah, it's over here towards the right coming up, but it's actually a little bit hard to find. It is behind, there's I think an insurance salesman office. But it's, if you look for it, you'll find it. And once you get there, it's just kind of a nice little coffee shop. They've got just a couple of little rooms to set in, and they make nice little coffee drinks. And they've always been very pleasant every time we've been there. Just wanted to mention them because I like them so much. And as I look at a map, and I pull up Hardinsburg on the map, they're actually fairly centrally located to some other cool stuff. This might be a nice little quiet town to settle down in and still have access to some other places. Yeah, there's the coffee shop. We're kind of pulling out of their parking lot, and it's kind of behind that building there. I know the first time we were looking for it, we overshot it because it's kind of behind another business. So, yeah, if you're in that area, make sure you're looking for it or you'll miss it. Sorry, I was looking at a map, and it's kind of close to some of those great little southern Indiana towns. And you are in western Kentucky, too. Yeah, they're fairly close to Hallsville. And then Tell City, Indiana. A couple towns there that I spent time in growing up. Still nice, small, historic little towns, but they've got enough to do to keep you interested. Not too far from Hartford, Letchfield, and going up into Indiana a little bit. It's not too horribly far, from Jasper and French Lick. French Lick is, just a great little town. I'm sure you know about it, with an amazing over-the-top hotel. Actually, two of them. And they're not too far from Santa Claus either. So that's pretty cool. Lots of access to stuff. And as I mentioned, Owensboro, where I grew up. But yeah, just a pretty town. I drove past their library too, and it just looked like a nice library. I want to go in there next time I'm in town just to stick my head in. Oh, and just for the heck of it, I put up a few pictures of the Wired Rooster coffee. If that was a little tiny sticker, I would buy a bunch of those. Like they should be selling that as a sticker because I want one. Actually, I want about 5 or 6 stickers like that. I just think that's cool, and I want that on a T-shirt. I would totally wear that T-shirt. Yeah, there's a State Farm office, and it's kind of behind the State Farm office there. So that's the sign you have. I guess look for the State Farm sign if you're looking for Wired Rooster. It'll be easier to find. Yeah. Oh, and look at that. Yeah, just a great little artsy room with couches. Of course, right now, with COVID still going on, maybe it's not a good place to go hang out on a couch. But hopefully, after everybody gets their shots and things get back to normal, fingers crossed, that would be a great place just to go and crash and hang out. And they have, yeah, look at that. That's their menu. And it's just a cute little shop. And every time I've been in there, there's just really sweet little people running it. So yeah, check that out.